Mr. President.
Senator from Nevada.
Mr. President, I rise talking about an amendment that Senator Kerry and myself will be offering as an amendment to the Small Business Jobs Bill. This amendment is really to correct something that we don't want the IRS enforcing right now. Senator Kerry and myself, we have 72 members who have co-sponsored our bill that we will be offering as an amendment. There's overwhelming bipartisan support for this. I'd like to thank Chairman Baucus and Ranking Member Grassley for committing to work with Senator Kerry and myself to get this issue addressed. The need for the amendment is based on a little notice provision that was added in 1989. This has to do with cell phones and similar devices that are treated as what the IRS is known as listed property, along with computers and automobiles. As a result, employees and employers must keep detailed records of all calls made on their employer-issued cell phones, indicating whether they are personal or business-related, or have the value of the phone included as taxable income. This law is a good example of why the government should not micromanage the economy. Government is not good at keeping up with the private sector. 20 years ago, cell phones were bulky. They were cumbersome and expensive. They were the size of a brick and weighed almost as much. When given by businesses to employees, they were considered to be an executive perk or a luxury item and were often hardwired to the floor of a car. During the past 20 years, of course, cell phone and mobile communication devices have become incredibly small and cheap, and their use has skyrocketed. Cell phones and other mobile communication devices are now part of daily business practices at all levels. As a matter of fact, they're part of almost every American's daily life. They are an extension of the office for many employees. And everyone recognizes the real motivation of employers is being able to call their employees at any time, in any place. The cost of providing coffee for an employee is likely higher today than the per-employee cost of a cell phone personal device. Outdated tax laws like this must be updated to reflect 21st century realities, and this bipartisan amendment would do exactly that. The Mobile Cell Phone Amendment updates the tax treatment of cell phones and mobile communication devices by repealing the requirement that employers maintain these overly burdensome detailed usage logs. This is a small but important measure that we should be able to enact today to help small businesses, nonprofits, colleges, and employees use today's technology for business without interference from yesterday's regulation. This proposal was included in the President's budget. And if you need more reason to vote for this bill, just talk to the Internal Revenue Commissioner, Doug Shulman, who released a statement that supports the repeal of the current IRS cell phone reporting rules. In his statement, Commissioner Shulman states that the current law, which has been on the books for many years, is burdensome, poorly understood by taxpayers, and difficult for the IRS to administer consistently. Now, Mr. President, let me just quickly summarize what we're doing. Basically, everybody who gets a cell phone from their employer, we don't want them to pay tax on that cell phone as some kind of a perk. These are things because if you think about how bills are paid today with cell phones, you have a monthly usage charge. You don't get charged per cell phone call like it used to be in the old days when cell phones were very, very expensive. People buy plans per month. So many minutes you get with those plans. That's virtually the way that everybody who gets a cell phone from a company, the way that those plans are purchased today. So we need to simplify the tax code. This is a very minor provision, but an important provision, because you don't want all of a sudden, when you're going through an IRS audit, have to go back years and years and go through every one of your cell phone records and determine was that a personal phone call, was that a business phone call, and what percentage now, and having to figure all of that out. This is a simplification of the tax code. It's the right thing to do. It's a very simple thing. So as soon as the amendment process is figured out, we will be offering this amendment as one of the first amendments to the small business tax bill. And once again, it's been a pleasure working with my colleague, Senator Kerry, on this bill. Mr. President, yield floor, note the absence of quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.